We have Dr. Ranjini ji joining again on this particular show. She's been there with us for a while, and we've done a lot of launch programs, and she's doing a fabulous job by encouraging people who are disabled. She's got this culture mix program where people internationally come to her platform, SciArtsRUs, and she's bringing these guys, giving a platform, a stage where they can perform. And during pandemic, I think people from artists from every country have taken advantage of being in this platform and showcasing their talent. And I think the journey doesn't end there. This is a great platform for people who are disabled. They got recognized. This is a great platform for people who want to showcase their talent with limited abilities they have. So thanks a lot, Ranjini ji. I think the story goes on. I mean, you guys should visit this particular platform. Go to their website, go to their Facebook page, and check out what all happens there. I think you will keep scrolling. That is what I can guarantee you. You will keep scrolling as to WhatsApp, what all this team did. So thank you, Ranjini ji. It's an honor having you here. There are very few personalities, when you introduce them and bring them on board, you feel really honored. It's just not about doing another show, but you really feel proud of whom you have on the show, not because of the followers or fan following they have, but because of the work you guys do. So thank you for being here. So how is it being? So I want to ask you, and how is it going now? What's up with Sai Art?
Hi, Raviji. Thank you so much for having me again. So lovely to see you. I think it's been almost 9 or 10 months since we talked. So lovely to be back again on work. And, it's indeed an honor to have met you and, the Work TV folks. I still remember when you first had us over, when we were launching many of our programs on SciArtsRUs. It seems like it was years ago, but it was actually 2020. I remember like summer, August, something like that. It's been a great journey, Raviji. I think I kind of feel like being on work is a rite of passage almost. For any of our initiatives, every time we come on here, we've had success, and I think work has been doing a fabulous job of connecting so many of us together and helping with our platform. So much has happened, Raviji, just in the past year and even in the past 9 months. So yeah, I mean, and you're right. It's there's been the cross culture concerts. There's been the Artabilities for All platform. If you remember, we've come on work a few times with Lakshmi as well, and we're doing something for World Disability Day coming up. We've been doing some initiatives on science meets art, music, visual arts, dance. It's been busy, but very good busy, enjoying it a lot. And no, I would love to figure out, how we could share some of this information with some of the folks on work as well.
Super. So, Ranjini, you're doing this out of passion, and this is a non-profit initiative, and you're busy with your professional life, and you take a lot of time, driving these initiatives. Sometimes you get help, from other participants. Sometimes you have to do everything yourself. How does it feel? I mean, don't you feel sometimes like, yeah, this is like too much of the efforts for me? Or, what goes on behind your mind to keep this initiative going, and coordinating so many people and still making things happen? So how does it go?
Yeah, good question, Raviji. I think the one thing that so far, it's been very busy. Our team, I do have a team of 3 or 4 people now, and they're like my pillar, a solid rock, solid support for me. So a lot of them help me out. I count on them for a lot of the work we do. But yeah, despite that, most of it is what I'm doing, and it is a nonprofit. We've been getting the support from many of our donors, our mayor, the mayors of our city, they've all been behind us. So many folks have supported the initiative, including the artists from all around the world. And so to me, that's what keeps it going. Yes, it's been a continuum, if you will, because working with different artists from around the world, time zones. So I'm like texting or dealing with people all day, all night. And sometimes I'm so into it, I'll get up at 3 o'clock in the morning automatically, whether I want to or not. So I haven't found it frustrating yet, actually. I don't think I will. I think I'm finding it very exciting. The more people are interested in being a part of it, the more I want to do it. But yes, it would be helpful to have, a larger team where folks could do more. But, in time, I'm hoping we'll be able to grow more.
Super. So, okay, can you tell the audience, I mean, describe to the audience, how this initiative started? Why, I mean, there might be a lot of viewers who, know you for the
Yeah.
first time. So, why did you want to mix science and art and, drive this together? Does your background in science had something to do with it, or it was like,
No, it did actually, and it's interesting you asked this question. So I'm a scientist, professionally speaking, I'm a scientist, as you have described as well. I came to the United States to do my PhD in biochemistry, and I was working in a biotechnology company for like almost 2 decades. And then, art has always been a very important part of my life. And I dabble in visual art. I learn music every once in a while. Don't find a lot of time to do that. But one of the things while I was in graduate school, and I think we talked about this way back in our first meeting, there's a lot of art and science, and there's a lot of science and art, and biology is completely full of art and symmetry, proteins, DNA. If you look at all of them, it's full of symmetry and they're extremely beautiful, very artistic. If you pick up a biochemistry textbook, you'll see these. So way back then, always thought about how to kind of, bring art and science together. But, life happened, right? You have to pay your bills, you have to graduate, get a job. So that kind of went in the background. But then once, my kids came along and the kids have been learning music, my son, he learns music, and he's also starting to perform a lot in India. So kind of the passion for art came back again. And at that point, and I volunteered my time in a few different organizations, art organizations, both in the United States and in India. I like to fundraise, to do events and things like that. But then at some point, I kind of felt like I needed to channelize the science and art angle. And it was also about accessibility, and accessibility is all dependent on context, whether if it's somebody who's differently abled, accessibility is something else. And if you're in the United States versus another country, India, the UK, wherever you are, accessibility is a relative term. So I always was very interested in making some of these accessible. And so that's how Artabilities was born. On the one extreme, you can think about accessibility from a differently abled standpoint. And then there is the able-bodied, folks. And then there is a whole spectrum in between the abled and the differently abled. And so that's how it was born. So Artabilities for All is a platform, exclusively the art platform for differently abled artists, or rather people with different abilities. And then we have all the others, the cross-culture concerts. And that's another premise. I mean, I can go into more details about that, but to answer your question, so when we founded SciArtsRUs, we wanted to explore each of these verticals and make a lot of headway and progress on those, and then eventually tie them all together. So that's kind of the broad kind of thinking. Oh, okay. I see. Okay.
so
Is this better?
the Disability Day, World Disability Day is coming up. So, what's up? Do you have something in plan? And, what do you want to talk about any of the initiatives?
Yeah, definitely, Raviji. Thanks for talking about that. So, World Disability Day, or International Day of Persons with Disabilities, that's how it's celebrated by the United Nations on December 3rd. Although we like to believe that it's called the International Day of Persons with Abilities, so we're trying to drive that home as much as possible in terms of making it clear to everyone that we are all people with varying abilities, and so we are celebrating it as World Abilities Day. So last year, when Art Abilities originally launched back in September of 2020, and that December of 2020, we had launched Wings Unlimited. So the thinking being that, sky is the limit for everyone, right? And our tagline is soar to reach your dreams. And so our first edition of Wings Unlimited was last year, and it was a 5-day event. We had featured artists from India, United States, and a few countries in Africa and Europe. And this year as well, we're featuring about 7 countries from 4 continents, over 65 artists from around the world. And this will, include visual artists, performing artists, stand-up acts, poets, people who do pottery, who bake, and adults, younger folks, everyone. And so we're, currently it's going to be streamed, predominantly on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. So we are launching this from December 3rd through the 9th. We will have a sort of an international launch. We've been inviting dignitaries from around these countries to launch and sort of put the artists in touch with the other artists and also with the dignitaries and to create the awareness, broadly speaking. Yeah, but it is a lot of work. It's required almost 3 months of planning from my side, and we're still, we're getting our act together little by little.
All the best for that. So, any support you need from us, do let us know. For audience who are meeting Ranjini ji for the first time, so I have a short video which talks about all the activities which this particular team has been doing for a while. Let's play that and let's come back with Ranjini ji as to with some more questions. So here is a short video.
Thanks.
Well, these are super initiatives. So, yeah, just curious, right? How how do these team members, sitting somewhere in some other world, uh, some other part of the world, how do they, prepare themselves to come onto the show? I see some of the videos every time, SciArtsRUs, goes live. I'm like, I get the notification. I at least, peep in and
Right.
see what's up because these are really motivating. Uh, so I see there are people who are like on the stage, they do real performance as if I feel that I'm like sitting in an
Right.
auditorium and viewing this. So
Oh, wow.
what goes behind the scenes? So how does this team, which some of them are like disabled, how do they do all this, and how are you able to manage this?
It's I have to say, whether it's the cross culture concerts or whether it's the Art Abilities for All initiative or anything else, I think a lot of it is sort of the coordination and talking to the artists. And what I find actually very interesting and also I'm very thankful for is the artists that we've reached out. I've been quite lucky. Every once in a while I'll reach out to some artist, and then, the other artists will just come along. They'll hear about what we're doing, and they'll support us and say, wow, this is a great platform. We'd love to be a part of it. And so usually the way we've been doing it, we've been premiering our videos. So we'll talk, we'll figure out availability, our availability, theirs, and then talk about, when we need something by, what is it that we want in the series? What's the message? So we talk about that, and the artists essentially work with us. And that's how it happens. I think the main challenge is when you're doing multiple global initiatives from different countries, like I was mentioning to you, Raviji, is the time zone problem, because it's like I feel it's a continuum for me because I'm constantly awake. Every time we launch a season, it basically, I'm awake for many, many nights texting, because if I miss the window of time or of opportunity, then I have to wait another day. And it's like, so I feel like that's the biggest challenge, but it's also the greatest excitement. But I do have a team in India as well. So I have an editing team, a creative team actually that helps us out with many different things. And so then I hope whenever I'm able to sleep, they're actually working, which really helps a lot. And that's kind of how we've been managing. So really thanks to all the artists. And we've now featured over 22, 23 countries, artists from many different countries all around the world. And, even as places such as Israel, we featured an organization called Nritya Sabha from Russia, all Russian artists and teachers and gurus who practice Indian dance. And similarly, we celebrated the Hispanic Heritage Month in October. We featured artists from Mexico who have been practicing, Indian dance and music. And, and these are examples of artists who in the cross culture who've practiced Indian music. But there's been many who do everything. Essentially the platform is featuring artists who practice dance or music of another culture, but outside of theirs. So it doesn't have to be Indian. But I'm just, in the Indian context, I'm, pointing out a few examples. And similarly, the art abilities we've been coordinating this over the last few months. And it's not easy to do that, given the pandemic, communication, making sure everybody's on the same page. It's a lot of communication.
So
with the artists.
you've been, living with the artists for a long time, like all these events, those are going on. Did Ranjini anytime decide that, okay, I should get into this art form, music, art, or dance form?
No, I mean,
It never,
music
never
every
came into
once
your
in a
mind.
while. No, I think, I love music, I love art, and I try to every once in a while learn music, or I sing, I dabble with art. But I do believe that, there's like really good artists out there and they need support, right? And sometimes people like us who are passionate about art and who want to promote the arts and the artists, we need to also be there for the artists to help them, because they've taken it as their profession. I'm doing it more kind of for fun. So whether it's my son in the future, he chooses to do it professionally, or my daughter, I know that without the art supporters, the artists cannot truly get that encouragement. So I feel like, while I love dabbling and exploring, I think I'm very happy in, sort of promoting the art and the artists. I think I derive a lot of happiness in doing that.
So all these initiatives are like really nice, but most of these initiatives would add more value when you have more funds to you know
Correct.
infuse into the ecosystem. So
Mhm.
how's it going with funding? Do you need any help with audience and friends who can support you, especially the artists and the especially or differently abled category? Do you think that that would help the entire system?
Absolutely, Raviji. Always, like I think in the past I'd mentioned, a lot of these initiatives I've been pretty much funding myself. We do have a lot of kind donors and sponsors every once in a while. We've been starting to look into grants that we can get. The mayor of our cities, they've put us in touch with many different programs where we can leverage funding. We're getting a lot of support from them in that sense, but any kind of financial support we can get, because we pay our artists, they're not especially the professionals, right? So when we host professional artists, we do give them an honorarium, and there's of course costs, with maintaining a team, editing, promotions. So we do pay our team as well, so obviously I'm just doing this for passion at this point, and even if I can break even, I'll be happy at this point, right? But then, my husband's very supportive. He tells me, do whatever you want, within what we think is reasonable. However, to truly scale this, we have to figure out a way to get sustainable funding, and that's what I'm working on as well right now. So if anyone can help, corporate houses, individual philanthropists, or foundations, we would love to speak with them, Raviji.
Super. Super. All the best with that. We will definitely, spread the word out, and all the friends who are watching this, check out what you can do. It's not necessary you fund personally, but if you can, work out a system where you can help Ranjini ji to get this moving. And I'm sure this is an awesome platform which should, keep going. So Ranjini ji, a last question before we end the show. What's coming next, and what is that our friend should watch out from your team?
We want to start hosting live, performances as well. Obviously, some parts of the world are opening up. The United States has opened up, and I know India is starting to open up as well, and other parts of the world. So eventually, we want to start doing things live as well, in addition to making information or programs accessible online. We're looking into many different educational angles and other programs. So those are the two main things, Raviji. So I'm hoping that when we start doing things live, we'll have a lot more support from the audience, local audience. So hopefully, all around the world, we can do this. That's the hope.
Super. All the best with that, Ranjini ji, and wish you, your team, this particular initiative, and your family, especially because they are also, behind the scenes, but doing a lot of support work, especially your son. So
Exactly.
yeah, do great, and friends, do follow SciArtsRUs, and spread the word out. It's also important. The few seconds of the few moments which you take to spread the word out, share these videos, uh, post it and share it in your groups and friends, so that they can follow this initiative and support this initiative. Remember one thing: every like, every comment you make encourages this particular team. It also encourages the artists, and team members who are disabled are coming onto this platform. It would really support them, it would really encourage them. So continue to do that. Some of these initiatives, you might feel a non-profit, हाँ ये चलता रहेगा, बट ये चलने के लिए आपकी सपोर्ट की बहुत ज़रूरी है. So hold on, watch, encourage. I think that those are the words I would use to support this particular platform. So again, all the best, Dr. Ranjini ji. It's always been an honor having you here, and anything
Likewise.
for you. So let us know what support you need, and we will do it for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raviji. It's thank you for having me, and thanks to the work team as well. And yeah, look forward to possibly meeting you sometime in the future, Raviji.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
everyone.
Thank you, friends.
Thanks.
Have a
Bye.
great day ahead.